Welcome to Poetry Palace TV. I am Tom Beal, and this is my Diary of a Poet series, episode 32. We are reading in volume 17, Picking the Pen Back Up. The intent of the show is to read volume 18, Eternal Revolutions, poems I have been writing to my late wife since February 2020. Unfortunately, I have not yet been able to read them in a composed manner. It was suggested that I simply start from the beginning so that I get used to the idea slowly and add a bit more time to my process before actually trying to read those poems to you. We are almost there. If you would like to read along at another pace, the series is available to read for free at poetrypalacegiftshop.com. The producer of the show, as well as other fans, believe the verse in her volume is quite helpful for those who have lost a spouse. And if you know of someone who you feel might be helped, please suggest they check it out. Number 1157. Sitting by a hole left by the rock we took, to build roads and pave them again and again, not because we cannot make a road that lasts, but because the money flow would lessen then. And not that I am anti-corporation. Once companies were proud that products would last, back before the American god of greed bared its teeth and revealed its horrors so vast. I think not our situation hopeless. We simply have not begun to feel the pain. As always, before the beautiful flowers, there is a season where we must stand in the rain. Number 1158. Leaves have colored and browned and mostly fallen down. What a wondrous time of year to be. Oh, not to say that any other is any less. Fall reminds me of Wolf and wonders of Free. The frosty mornings and heated afternoons, past Halloween, masks and haunted houses. We await turkey and trimmings and festive times. Bring out the scarves, mittens, and fluffy blouses. Hear grandfather's stories, eat grandma's sweet cookies, see aunts and uncles and cousins all jolly. The shopper's gone crazy for sales on Black Friday. Then it's time for the lights and trees and holly. We dream in the kitchen to coffee of camping, those endless sea beaches and days at the lake. Then shiver to the thought of winter approaching and wonder what housewarming things we can bake. Sure, such are the delights of the holiday season, pictured like something Rockwell might paint, least here in New England with stoic abandon, where most of us aim at the jolly but quaint. Number 1159. 3 a.m., sitting in the Mac on a bridge, going to a job right near Fenway Park. Though I have never been there to see a game, I will soon know what it looks like in the dark. Over 300,000 miles in this seat, and I have had close to 200 jobs. Guess I had to learn the lesson of routine so I could see the way that routine robs. It so easily becomes a mindless game, creating a planet of people asleep, as I sit with the strobes trying to awake to the bounties awaiting me to reap. 1160. Got surprised with a couple of days off. In the paving industry, that happens never. Went to work on the Kindle project. Spent those 2 days feeling as inept as ever. I have failed at this in so many ways, yet something inside calls for me to try again. Once more these words have turned into my curse. My life's theme is this unsatiated yen. Number 1161. The snow and rain of November New England A day of Thanksgiving, then Black Friday shopping. The crazy of this commercial existence, all through a month of the Christmas party hopping. It can dampen the holly and mistletoe if one loses their grip on the jolly and cheer. But if we can cut loose all the expectations, we still feel the warmth of the family far and near. Number 1162. An hour and 42 minutes to drive 23 miles in rain and snow, to perform a job I cannot stand. But that's the way a career path can go. Learning to see the education and how avoidance just makes it all worse. So hard lesson learned along the way were of my own doing and not some curse. I try to see it as a mirror, but the world looks like it has karmic flu. I see such horrors on the news feed and wonder what I am supposed to do. Number 1163. Trying not to think of the shopping I must do. Still trying to eat leftovers from the bird. Trying not to wait for the season to be through, for 90 days off when the boss says the word. But then it's karaoke with the brothers Beal, catching up with friends I have not seen since snow. The list of chores created when I signed the deal, all those projects that my wife accepts and throw. These horribly long 29 days of waiting while wrapping up my first Kindle book for sale. The knot in my stomach from anticipating. Could this umpteenth effort finally prevail? For now, I move the Mac forward a few more feet and watch the burn machine as it slowly crawls, bathing in the grateful that my life seems complete, even after those self-inflicted falls. Number 1164. I saw the circle of the moon with just a sliver of it white. It sits 250,000 miles away, but hooks and reels the tide. Does it pull the water mass of me to the left and to the right? Is it some heaven-sent celestial angel sent to be my guide? I am by no means a spirit guru, so I just cannot say. But having overlooked opportunities that life had to give, I know when a vision strikes a chord, it is music I must play. So does that silver represent all the changes that I now live? Number 1165. So I asked for layoff and the boss said yes. It was the 7th of December before I dared. Too much planned for this hiatus, I confess, but I know how the lack of planning impasse fared. It is under the double wide with a spade to dig out 5 large gorilla wagon loads of dirt. Maybe in 40 tons, a slab can be made. If not the clearance to do work certainly can't hurt. Then catching up from 9 months of overtime, because we know friendship flowers need fellowship's rain. And this winter I hit Amazon with rhyme, hopefully not adding to my effort spent in vain. Karaoke singing with the brothers Beal. The Cadillac really needs a fender and a door. The rust of New England winters made the struggle real, and I have lost this battle so many times before. A book about the dichotomy of me to explain the difference of live compared to verse, because I can't explain what I cannot see, or even this poet blessing disguised as a curse. Maybe start how to become a strong old man, documenting my evolution of working out. How I replaced all my woulds and coulds with can, because sharing the journey is what it is about. Then our anniversary gift of a cruise. This year, trying not to gain back all the weight I lost. Completely immersing in the faux summer ruse before returning to these chores in the snow and frost. Then as middays warm, I work fast on the yard, racing toward that day in April where the fools have struck. If I cannot make this living as a bard, then it's 9 more months of overtime driving a truck. Number 1166. I tried to think of my life better for years. All it got me was what's left of hair gray. That thinking was quite often cause of tears, but not once did it take problems away. Then I was told actions changed everything, not by magic, but that process was key. Like karaoke's 3 decades of sing, I just had to decide my kind of free. Step 1 was to regain strength I once had. The universe had some lessons to teach. Pushing too hard led to injury bad, but taught me a more realistic reach. Step 2 was the care of this rented lot with the flower gardens made for the wife. Making do with the resources I've got, choosing improvements to make a better life. Learning that a little bit here and there topples a lie if I can't get it done. That the effort it takes to apply care often turns the hard labor into fun. Number 1167. I have almost 10,000 pounds of dirt I dug from underneath this double wide, crawling with my wagon until I hurt, water flow blocking the dam's other side. I dump it on tarps to move in the spring, though it seems futile, I work when I can. I know progress is the important thing, but did not know it was a 6-year plan. Digging on fast day was worse than I thought, but proved again I can keep a goal. Suppose in the end it may be for naught, but I think it is just part of my dole. Like all the flower gardens for the queen, the walk for the delivery of fuel, the production of visions I've seen, I am just my imagination's tool. Number 1168, the winding road of progress. Was 20 when I got into a truck. Some swearing, drinking men took me under their wing. The low rate of pay did not seem like luck, but steps towards an unforeseen future was the thing. $3.50 an hour was hardly pay, so I rented a closet up on a 3rd floor. I guess the boss's lunch got in beer's way. Of course, when it was finished, I just wanted more. They told me to get a license upgrade, that it would cost me only half of one paycheck. Even my ignorance saw their point made. A friend offered a truck that was up to spec. Wired in drive shafts and drove with no tread. Learning to complain with the boys over beer. Then losing my brakes and thinking I'm dead, I saw the origins of the stories I'd hear. The bad throw-out bearing they would not fix, and the threat of some days with the truck being down. Threw double clutch training into the mix, which did keep me working when I thought I would drown. And then to New Hampshire for a flatbed. There was job after job without making headway. Life was minimum wage just to keep fed. PTSD from youth always kept me in fray. Just over 8 years after getting real, because life is measured in increments of poem, horror still took everything it could steal, and anger ruined every chance I had for home. I went for a job working on a site. I think that there were more than 40 others there. Truck and trailer drivers made my chances look slight. Something told me to stay and see how I would fare. 30 tons from a crusher was the load. Drive it up and around to the appropriate pile. This 18 speed I had never been showed. In fear double clutching, with throat full of bile. They said I shifted better than the rest. On Monday I could come down and start my job. 90 loads a day put me to the test. Turned oodles and noodles into corn on the cob. I was not done with my bouncing around. Next stop was entering the construction world. After that, it was roll-off that I found. I am just kind of witnessed as my daymare unfurled. There was rock truck and pizza by car. Then it was over 3 years in a Mac. But boys will be boys, and that's how things are, and how it seemed I was a magnet for lack. I tried rebuilding pallets for a bit, hurting my shoulder while I was hardly earning rent. Finding another truck seat in which to sit, the paving industry seemed to be heaven sent. My state's unemployment was rather lean, while this new field only offered 9 months of work. Although the commuting cost was obscene, 3 months of being laid off was quite the perk. 16 winters I have been retired. Of course, they started with me 40 grand in debt. Only once in that time was I fired. Not sure if it was 4 or 5 minutes, I forget. 13 and a half years at Allied, almost half of them with me about to flip out. I guess the boss saw, at least, that I tried. But to me, my future there was in doubt. I know for sure this man's love saved my life, though that is not a word that we use in this field. But he kept me through all my self-made strife, which is exactly what I needed to be healed. Thanks, Mr. Joyce. And I have gone over a couple minutes from the regular show time, but thank you very much for joining me for this episode of Poetry Palace TV, and I hope there was something that caught your ear. Please feel free to check out the website, and I hope to see you next week. Au revoir.